Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Clean water is one of our most valuable resources. Conserving it should be all of our responsibility. Remember every day to make every drop count. Wash full loads, take shorter showers, turn off your faucet. Water, use it wisely. Let's commit to conserve.
and by SciComm Technologies, celebrating 20 years in IT. SciComm is dedicated to helping customers stay on top of the tech wave, whatever comes next. Online at scicommtech.com.
On top of the dugout at the Diamond, a Father's Day celebration with Curtis Monk, the president of Community Idea Stations. Curtis, thanks for being here, man.
Well, Jay, it's a pleasure. We always love to come out to the ballpark.
Catch on the field with Curious George, kids running the bases after the game. Nutsy, of course, will be all around the ballpark, making memories at the ballpark, not just about the baseball. And that's why I feel that the Squirrels have been so successful in this region.
Oh, yeah. Well, and they've meant a lot to the community and really had a major impact. I don't know that people realize the kind of impact the Squirrels would have on the community, and that's why it makes them such a great partner for us. We've made a commitment to Flying Squirrels Insider, and in fact, this will be our 50th program.
50?
Yeah, number 50. So that's pretty impressive. When it first started out, I don't know that we realized it would have such a long run, but now I don't think we can imagine having a season without it.
Flying Squirrels Insider is back, and this week we celebrate the show's 50th episode. Hard-throwing closer Ray Black stops by for a conversation on FSI Field. Squirrels catcher Steve LaRue returns to tell us how his world changed in one day, and Tyler Horan debuts a new segment showing off his sweet ride. The team has not had a whole lot of luck on the field, but that's not to say they don't have some talented players. Talented hosts Jay and Greg are here to break it down for you on a super special edition of Flying Squirrels Insider.
And we're back here on Flying Squirrels Insider. Welcome in. I'm your host, Jay Burnham, joined by my broadcast partner, Greg Caserta, in just a moment. But first, we'd like to remind you that Utility Buddy from the City of Richmond Department of Public Utilities makes us aware of Richmond's stormwater utility. A reminder, pet waste can end up in storm drains. Help protect the environment by keeping streams and rivers clean. Visit richmondgov.com/DPU and click Stormwater Utility. Also, as always, a tradition here on the show. If you want to win free stuff, and I know you do, text us at FSI to 63975. Our mobile marketing services provided by Opt-in Technologies. Your message and data rates may indeed still apply. With that said, I'll bring in my broadcast partner, Greg Caserta. And Greg, it looked like this team was on the path to the winning ways. They won 6 out of 8, but then dropped 10 out of 11. What happened?
June was looking like a great month. It started off very well, and then for whatever reason, the Portland Sea Dogs were a major obstacle for the Squirrels. The two teams were trading with the worst record in the league, so you felt like the Squirrels had a tailor-made series in front of them. They go up to Portland, they get swept in a 3-game series at Hadlock Field, and then the Sea Dogs come to the Diamond and win 2 out of 3. So in the season series, they win 5 of the 6 meetings, and when you do that against the worst team in the other division, it doesn't really bode well for the rest of the month.
You know, it might have been exciting for some Boston Red Sox fans in the area, seeing some of the youngest and brightest stars coming through with that Sea Dogs team, but the Squirrels trying to figure some things out, and there might be some players that fans don't recognize because Richmond has sort of beefed up the bullpen and tried to bolster the lineup in terms of turning things around. Yeah,
it's suddenly becoming the San Jose Giants that are flocking here to Richmond, and some of those names include Brandon Bednar, who's filling in for Miles Schroeder as sort of a super utility player. He can play all 4 infield spots, and he's shown a pretty good bat so far. And then in the bullpen, of course, Rodolfo Martinez, who was leading the California League in saves. He was a midseason all-star down there. As of this taping, we have not seen him yet, but very much like Ray Black, who joins us in a little bit, he can throw 100 miles per hour, so it should be exciting to see him as well.
And as you can see, the Squirrels adding a lot of major league experience as well. Preston Claiborne has been added to the bullpen. He made his major league debut a few years ago with the New York Yankees. Matt Reynolds, a left-hander out of the bullpen, was saved from the independent leagues, and he has joined this squad as well. So you've got a lot of depth there, guys that know how to get it done at the highest level possible.
And why not bring them along? We've talked about the Bowie Bay Sox having former major league players players on their roster. We saw it with the Portland Sea Dogs bringing in a couple of veterans, and now the Squirrels are going that same route, which tends to happen at this point of the season. Guys looking for a home, and you get those veterans like Preston Claiborne, like Matt Reynolds, and they certainly help out in the long run.
A lot of times guys like that will fall off of out of favor because of injury or just extraneous circumstances. So to see those guys get back in track maybe help some of the younger players along the way. And who knows, if the Giants need to reach down into the minor league system, they know that they have guys that have succeeded at the highest level possible. Now, with that said, the offense has had its moments in the month of June. There's not a hotter hitter in this league in June than Hunter Cole. He continues to carry the way.
You and I talked about it on the broadcast. When's it going to turn? When's it finally going to change for Hunter Cole? Those first 5 or 6 weeks, he was really swinging the bat well, wasn't getting the desired results. Suddenly, he's starting to really hit for power. His home run totals have really increased since last year, and he seems to be hitting a double in almost every game. So when they needed him the most, the Squirrels got production out of Cole, and it comes at a really good time with Austin Slater leaving, and then, of course, some of the other losses in that lineup with Miles Schroeder going up as well. You needed Cole to show up, and he's done it at the perfect time.
Add 2 more doubles to that graphic you just saw. Cole is on a tear as he continues to really provide the offense for the Flying Squirrels. Now, you mentioned the guys that have been promoted. Miles Schroeder, he's gone. You had Yohan Gregorio at the beginning of the season. He's gone. Jose Casilla went up for a little bit. The Squirrels, Austin Slater, they continue to get guys to the next level. And at the end of the day, I know the wins and losses aren't there for the fans, but that's the ultimate goal for these players and for the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about it on the broadcast before. You made the point a few days ago, and it was a great one. When you look at this team, obviously, when you look at this team in the end, yeah, the win-loss record might not be great. It might not be sparkling, but you could have, let's say, 6 or 7 future major leaguers on this team when all said and done. And that is the ultimate goal. Sure, everybody wants an Eastern League championship. I know the city of Richmond would love one, but the Giants organization pleased with the progress of a lot of these players, and it's been fun for us as well.
You touched upon it a little bit. Tyler Rogers, as we tape this on a Wednesday, was called up 2 days ago to AAA. Rogers, we've talked about him, I think, ad nauseum on this broadcast. I sent him a good luck text as he was on his way up to Sacramento, meeting the team in Las Vegas, by the way, and just saying, hey, thanks for everything. He joined us here on the show earlier this season, and he provided a lot of thrills for the Flying Squirrels out of the back end of the bullpen, and a guy that you might not necessarily think would have success at this level with his unorthodox delivery.
And the duck and chuck, a term that Jay Burnham coined, it's going to follow Tyler Rogers now. I really feel like it's going to go with him. And yeah, you knew it was a matter of time, and that was the surprising thing. You looked at his 10 appearances last year, albeit brief, and the numbers weren't great. He goes back to San Jose to work on a couple of things, and suddenly this year he becomes the most dominant reliever in the Eastern League. And to get that call up, very happy for him, very well deserved, and hopefully can join his twin brother in the majors, because we know that Taylor Rogers has been pitching with the Minnesota Twins.
And he's been pitching well. The Squirrels are going to have a little bit of a void in the bullpen with Rogers going up. We saw it last night with Ray Black. He continues to impress. Ray's going to join us on this episode, but striking out the side yet again, and Black, I guess, seizing control of his rightful spot in terms of closing out games.
I think his average is something close to 2 strikeouts per inning, over a strikeout and a half per inning, and you'd like to see the walks drop a little bit, but otherwise, Ray Black, the fact that he's been able to stay healthy for most of the season, that's been the most important thing for him. Steve Klein's still trying to work on some things, establish that slider, because it is a really good breaking ball, but we know about the velocity. It's been there since day one. He hasn't slowed down, and you hope he can continue that moving forward.
2 more points we're going to make here. First and foremost, the former Flying Squirrel, Adam Duvall, on a tear in Cincinnati. He might lead the Major League in home runs when all is said and done.
How many tweets do we get on the Flying Squirrels account? You know, the Giants let him go. The Squirrels are really missing out. See what Adam Duvall's doing? Yes, we keep track of what these guys are up to, and yeah, a little bit surprising that right now he's the clubhouse leader, and I don't know if the Giants foresaw that, but the Reds have a good one.
And that's where the trading deadline looms so large, because you might let go a guy who eventually will have the ability to come back and get you. Final thought, the guy they called the Truth, Ali Castillo, leading the league in hitting, and man, he continues to get it done.
I didn't know they called him the Truth, but that's a great nickname, and Ali Castillo is somebody that's been around the Eastern League. He's had great success going back to his days with the Trenton Thunder, and he has become the league's #1 hitter in terms of batting average. He can hit at the top or bottom of the order, and he's very strong at second base as well.
Sounds good. Thanks, Greg.
You're very welcome.
All right, FSI turns 50 this week, by the way. We mentioned it last episode. Curious George and company came to the Diamond, and everybody had a good time on Father's Day 2016.
The community idea stations and the Flying Squirrels teamed up together on Father's Day to celebrate dads, PBS Kids, and 5 years of the Flying Squirrels Insider. More than 7,300 fans flooded into the stadium that day to see Nutsy and special guest Curious George with his dad, the man in the yellow hat. Families visited with Curious George, took lots of pictures, had a catch with the man in the yellow hat, and high-fived Curious George after running the bases. The WCVE crew was out at the Diamond capturing all the fun on and off the field for the 50th anniversary show. In between innings, kids came by the Community Idea Station's table and made Father's Day cards for Dad. While the kids were busy coloring and creating, parents learned about fun and educational things to do with their kids all summer to avoid the summer slide. Parents learned that every PBS Kids program on WCVE every day is designed by an educator to teach skills that help prepare kids for success in school. These include science, math, literacy, healthy living, and social skills. They also learned that in addition to the great shows on TV, kids can learn on the go too, with PBS Kids mobile apps and online games. All are available at ideastations.org/kids. PBS Kids and the Richmond Flying Squirrels, a great community team.
Does this desk make you feel like you're on ESPN?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a young Scott Van Pelt.
Tell us, this hat, this is the Father's Day hat that the Squirrels are wearing today. We're going to auction them off during the game for charity.
Yeah.
You said you would like to keep that kind of hat. I mean, it looks pretty sharp on you.
I definitely like to keep it, but it's going to a good cause,
Yeah.
charity. You know, everyone's going to be bidding on it, and you know.
The Mazinko hat will go for more money than anybody else's hat. Let's put it.
Oh yeah.
see if we-
I mean, that's a given. I mean, any of the Tyler's hats should be at least worth $1 million.
Tyler Rogers, who has been phenomenal for you
Right.
guys, had a new haircut. I guess he was trying to shave his head with the regular old, what they call the 2-guard, right? Which is a little bit of a longer inch.
Right.
And he ended up with, I guess, a half-guard piece,
Half-guard.
right? Which leads to almost,
No hair.
almost bald, right? You
Right. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
guys give him a hard time for that?
Yeah, we did. He let a lot of the Tylers down that day, but we can.
You do not represent the Tylers well.
No.
Welcome back. There's a lot of entertaining things at the Diamond when you go there. Of course, there's the baseball game, and there's the sights and sounds and smells. There's Nutsy, and then there's a guy who comes out of the bullpen who can throw over 100 miles per hour. And this guy right here to my right is Ray Black joining us here.
Yep.
When was the first time you remember or you found out that you had hit 100 on the radar gun?
I was actually spring training in 2013, or 14, I'm sorry, recovering from a shoulder surgery. So pre-shoulder surgery, I'd flirted with it. I'd hit 98 before, I'd hit 99, and shoulders are finicky coming back from that type of injury. And, you know, they told me there's a chance you might not exactly come back to former self. And so I kind of expected to go out there my first outing after the shoulder surgery and, you know, be in the low 90s, maybe mid-90s if I'd be lucky, and come off the field after a long, wild outing. After not pitching in 2 years, I'd found out I'd actually hit 100 for the first time. And quite a relief to be back to that.
What was your reaction?
I thought they were all messing with me.
Really?
There were a bunch
Yeah.
of teammates in there saying,
course.
oh, you know, you hit 100. And I'm like, yeah. No, 3 times. I actually had to check the game chart for myself to
Really?
make sure they wrote it down, yeah.
Now, you've come back from many significant injuries.
Yeah.
To come back, I mean, is there the hesitation? Is it more mental or is it more physical when you're coming back, especially as a pitcher, anything with the shoulder, with the arm, or Tommy John?
Yeah, it's both. It's definitely more mental at first and it becomes physical towards the end. When you first start throwing, mechanics are a lot different. You find yourself subconsciously guarding it. I still do it even in warm-ups. There's times I'm throwing and, you know, pitching coach or my catch partner I play catch with, they'll be like, hey man, get your arm up. you know, because I'm still subconsciously trying to guard that shoulder a little bit. But, you know, the longer you go and the better you start to feel, the mental side gives way a little bit than the physical. And the physical is not so much of pain, but just slower recovery. You know, days you're not going to feel quite as good as the other guys. And then you find yourself doing more and more work just to get onto the field and stay on the field healthy. Something you're willing to sacrifice.
Well, you've sacrificed a lot. You've taken a long career, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you got injured before your career at Pittsburgh began. They honored your scholarship. You fought through a lot of injuries. Have you ever thought about giving it up?
Oh, man, I'd be lying to you if I said no.
Yeah.
I definitely thought about it. I mean, out of high school, like you'd said, I had Tommy John surgery my senior year of high school, and that was a tough blow for me. I was only 17 years old, and, you know, to find out what that surgery was, and I wasn't familiar with it before I needed it. It was difficult to kind of process, and like you said, the University of Pittsburgh did great with me, honored the scholarship, allowed me to show up and help me rehab to get through that process. And, you know, after getting drafted by the San Francisco Giants, you were on such a high at the time. I was loving baseball. It was fantastic. Things were going great, and then my first spring training with the Giants, I blow my shoulder out. And right there I was like, maybe this just isn't for me. Maybe my body physically can't handle it, and the doubt starts to set in. But when you go through that process, and I tell some of the guys and friends I know now that are going through some Tommy John, and you see the success stories. You know, guys like Osich have had injuries, and they're in the big league, a power reliever. A guy like Strickland who had shoulder and elbow issues, and he'd overcome it, and he's in the big leagues right now as well. You know, you see that light at the end of the tunnel, and you try and focus on what your main goal is. And for me, that's to help the San Francisco Giants in the big leagues.
All right, I'm going to do the next question by knocking on wood first. Here's to you staying healthy.
Absolutely.
You're rocking the ball right now. Do you feel like this is the best that you've been throwing in a long time, if ever?
I feel comfortable, and it was actually Klein and Lee Smitty. I had a bullpen, a couple sessions with them, and we figured something out a little bit mechanically, and went back and watched video from when I first came off of my surgery back in 2014 when I was with Augusta and Low A, our affiliate. I had a different set when we were actually talking about this. And when you come set, my front side this year had been a little bit more open, causing me to get rotational. And this is all just kind of pitching mechanics and fancy talk for, you know, I'm throwing the ball up.
Yeah.
And I was able to fix something mechanically with, you know, Klein, who actually caught it on tape, looking back at tape from 2 years ago to help me. And able to fix it, and it's helped me become more direct towards home plate.
It's not a bad crew to have Kleiner and Lee Arthur Smith helping you out.
Some great guys there, yeah.
Hey, well, look, continued success. Hit 102 miles per hour on Tuesday night. It was great. Thanks for being part of the show. Appreciate it, Ray.
Absolutely.
All the best. Ray Black, ladies and gentlemen. You can catch him at the Diamond with the Richmond Flying Squirrels. When we come back, maybe some hitters want to check out this next segment, getting their eyes checked with Steve LaRue. Next here on Flying Squirrels Insider.
I'm here with two very special guests, Flying Squirrels catcher Steve LaRue and Dr. Ed Worthman from the Medarva Physicians Network.
Steve and I were talking that it's fairly recent for him that he discovered vision is really different in one eye compared to the other. So when you have that situation, you lose depth perception, and you can, for a young child anyway, lose vision if it's not caught early enough.
And you were talking before that there is still a stigma attached with wearing glasses, but it seems like we're heading in the right direction. We look at Steve right here, very stylish in his glasses, so there are positive strides being made, right?
There are indeed. I think that while it is a battle for young people to feel good about wearing glasses, I'm really excited that somebody like Steve is not only, well, he performs better with them, but I can't say you look better in them, but you do look good in them. And for young people to see that, gee whiz, you can look good in them and perform better in sports. I mean, if they want to play sports and they can't see well, they're not going to do well in sports, in my opinion.
I wouldn't be so timid as to how you're going to look on the field if it's going to help you play. This year, the doctor actually put a correction up there for me.
Okay.
And I couldn't believe how well I could see. And then I started noticing, you know, during a lot of my day, how much I squint because I'm so nearsighted. So I'm squinting every time I was looking at something. And I was taking an at-bat in spring training, in a Major League Spring Training game, and I noticed how bad I was squinting while I was up there. And I was like, okay, it's time.
Now, level with me here. There's a promotion where a fan has to guess the speed of the first pitch of the inning. That's in what, the 8th inning, 7th inning?
Yeah, we do his first pitch of the 7th inning. Yep.
It's
Our
usually
friends
a little
from Dairy
kid.
Queen.
I mean, no one ever says like 6 miles an hour on
yeah,
that pitch. So
they're
do you give them a little coaching?
I try to give them a coaching a little bit. Well, the key
I think it'd be
is,
hilarious to have some kid go, hey, 13 miles an hour.
We did it one time, the kid said 15, I think. Another kid said like 108, and I was like, yeah, not today, sorry. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How often do you pay attention to what I'm saying when you're up there? Because I'm always watching you watch the game.
0.
And that's what I figured. That's what I figured.
People always say, like, I think I might be different than most because I got the headset on, or I'm writing the game story, or I'm updating the website, and I have no idea what's going on, like, in between innings. And people are like, man, did you see what's happening? Like, Jay-Z could throw out the first pitch and hit a fan in the first row, and I'd be like, I missed it. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a good question.
Absolutely.
And we're here on FSI Field with the closer, Ray Black. He looks a little intimidating. He can be on the mound, but he's a good guy joining us here today. Now, Ray, you pitch solely out of the stretch position, not using the windup. Can you explain what the difference is between the two?
Yeah, I mean, when you're younger, a lot of kids are taught to go out of a windup, and basically it's just a timing mechanism, something to get you into rhythm. Windups, you see some guys will be set one way here, and you just take your front foot and you're basically moving back and starting a momentum swing into your leg kick. Now for me, I usually teach a lot of the younger guys I work with just to throw out of the stretch at first. It's
control out of the stretch.
Much simpler. Yeah, I mean, even for myself, if I go out of the windup a little bit too much, sometimes it'll throw off my pitching mechanics, and that's why I've completely scratched it.
Okay. So you go to the stretch position, but first you get the sign from the catcher, right?
Yep.
So how's that look?
So after Little League, the way it works is you kind of come set, or you're looking towards home plate and you're getting your sign.
Okay.
Oh,
And you kind of, I know you can't do it in the jeans, but you kind of lean in, and you got
lean
a little
a bit.
Yeah.
Try and give them a mean look, you know, just like.
And you've got that down.
Yeah. It's all intimidation. You're trying to, you're messing with the batter a little bit here.
So you got it.
You get your sign, you come to your set, and you have to come completely set. Now this is where a balk kind of comes into play. You turn your shoulders a little bit, you're balked, you move, you sneeze, whatever it is, you're balked.
It seems unfair to the pitcher.
It really is unfair. Because it's hard to look over there sometimes without getting that little turn.
Set right here at the waist.
Completely set.
All right.
A little bit above the belt for me. Some guys come set differently with their hands.
And then
that's when I deliver the pitch. A little glove pump, and then I go right towards home.
Now you follow through in anticipation of maybe a ball coming back at you.
Yeah, you do your best. I think the best thing I try and teach or work on, and I have problems with myself sometimes, is front side.
Huh.
I really work on keeping this front glove tucked, so when you throw a ball, if one is hit back at you hard,
you've got
at least your glove is in this area, where sometimes you'll see me or other guys get down to here.
So if it's here, then if a ball comes back at you,
you can kind of flinch or just try and get out of the way.
And if you're throwing 100 miles an hour and a ball's coming back at you at 120 miles an hour,
you just try to get out of the way.
All right, thanks Ray for being here. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, Ray Black on the show this week. That'll conclude our 50th episode of FSI, and we'll go out with a Ford 350. It's Staying Fly with the Flying Squirrels, a new segment on the show, this time featuring Tyler Horan. What am I looking at here?
This is a 2013 Ford F-350 6.7 liter diesel. This little tow hitch right here, I mean, it's a little bit for looks, but it also, back home, we do a lot of pulling out trees, cutting firewood and stuff.
What's this?
So that's for the old men if they want to get up into the back.
It's gonna be a dumb question for a guy that doesn't know a lot about cars.
Yeah.
Where do you change the oil?
Seats back here flip up, so you got a bunch of storage underneath here for whatever kind of redneck stuff you want to put in here. I think I got like Got some fireworks, some tow straps, a propane torch, stuff like that. Anything you need.
When we started this show, I knew it was going to be great, but thanks to all these folks behind the cameras and in the studio, they do a wonderful job, and I think the camaraderie that we have created with them through the years is special. Hopefully we can do another 500 shows.
Absolutely. Before we
I'll be dead by then, but it'd be cool to do 5. Hey, will y'all put like a little party bobblehead on the desk when I'm dead?
A memorandum?
That'd be cool,
Yes.
yeah. That'd be awesome.
Horan, Father's Day, does it have some special connotation for you associated with the game of baseball?
My dad and I used to play catch out in the backyard. We played rolly bat. You ever play rolly bat?
What's that?
My dad and I played rolly bat, and one time he went to work and I turned my backyard into a wiffle ball field by rototillering his backyard. That did not go over well with my dad. But
was he impressed you knew how to use a tiller, though?
Well, I got my grandpa to help me. That was part of the problem.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Smell gas? Act fast. Don't just stand there. Leave the area. Get out. Go where the smell is no longer present and call 911. Making you aware, keeping you safe. We're Richmond's Natural Gas Safety Awareness Program.
and by SciComm Technologies, celebrating 20 years in IT. SciComm is dedicated to helping customers stay on top of the tech wave, whatever comes next. Online at scicommtech.com.